gosh. I am so sorry. This really took a while. There. You're in my bedroom. Don't mind the super high bed. There's just a lot of maternity pillows under there. Welcome back. Hi again. Since I posted the house tour, it has been a while, and I really apologize for that. I really do want to be consistent when it comes to posting more videos, and this was a requested video by a lot of people. A lot of people asked me to really just process my thoughts and tell you guys what it's like. I think that this is more of a vlog for me just because it's been such an interesting experience. So you guessed it, this is all about being pregnant during a pandemic. Oh my gosh. So let's get into it because medyo mahaba to. I do have notes because I want it to be more precise. I don't want to just be rambling. Pregnancy during a pandemic. Did we want to immediately start a family? Na tinanong, this was asked before on Instagram. So Nico and I have been together in total for 4 years. Actually, it's our anniversary today, our boyfriend-girlfriend anniversary. And we've always wanted to get married to each other. And he's always joked about, I want to have like 5 kids immediately. Like, let's start a family right away. And that was always a joke, but he always was very aware that I am such a career-oriented person. I really love the work that I do, whether it was whatever it is, hosting radio, sports broadcasting. So he kind of knew that it's basically up to me timeline-wise because ako yung mabubuntis. Duh! And I always wanted to get married, but children, parang I was just like, mentally, I'm really not there. Even when we got married in October of 2020, I was just like, I am not there. Adjusting to this new work from home or virtual hostings and then in-studio hostings with no audience. It was just such a weird time. It still is a weird time. And so I was just like, no to the baby. Maybe we'll just bask in the one, like a year of marriage na kaming dalawa lang. Something shifted in like the next 2 months. Parang around December 2020, I started thinking about it, like after 2 months of being married. And I know that Nico always wanted to have kids right away. But because he didn't pressure me, I was like, okay, let's try. Let's get pregnant. Parang ganun lang eh, no? I felt like it was gonna take longer. But we found out we were pregnant Jan of 2021. Started trying. I don't even know if that's what people say, right? We started trying. We're trying to have a baby. We started trying December 2020. I have mentioned that I have polycystic ovaries. I have PCOS, and I thought that it was going to take much longer to get pregnant. But I think we got it in the first try. So praise the Lord. Thank you so much for that, Jesus. I'm not being sarcastic. I really am thankful, but it was quite a shock. It was like, oh my gosh, we're pregnant. So no, I didn't take any fertility pills or, I didn't consult. I didn't even have an OB yet. Well, my Lola is an OB, but, she wasn't working because of the pandemic. She's a senior citizen. So I didn't really have an OB yet. And I was just like, oh my gosh, we're pregnant. It was super fast. We found out January 6th, 2020. And Nico was actually with me in the bathroom. Got the expensive pregnancy tests. Early pregnancy tests you can find out a week before your period, which I never really know because I do have PCOS, so sometimes my cycles would take like 60 days. So after so many negatives, finally nag-positive Jan 6, Nico was in the bathroom with me. And then he was just like, take another one. And I was looking at him like, I don't need to pee anymore. Then he was just like, drink more water. So I was like, okay. So I drank more water. I took 2 more tests. And all 3 said that it was positive that I was indeed pregnant. So yay! So I thought I was mentally prepared to be pregnant. That's what I thought. But as the months, I will go through it bit by bit and kind of highlight the hardest things for me. So when we found out we were pregnant, obviously we were very excited. I didn't have an OB yet, so I didn't want to go ahead and still do like my normal routine, which I don't know if you guys know, I worked out like 6 times a week, like intense workouts, like very intense workouts. We do have a history of miscarriages in the family, so I was like, okay, first time no workouts, which is 3 months, and that's a long time. So medyo naloloka na ako that I couldn't work out, and it working out for me is like my therapy. So the fact that I was going through something new and I couldn't cope with what I wanted, with how I cope. See, pag stress ako, nagwo-workout ako. Pag masaya ako, nagwo-workout ako. Pag malungkot ako, nagwo-workout ako. So obviously pregnancy is such good news and I couldn't work out. So it's very weird. But the hardest part was when I actually had some bleeding. I had a minimal subchorionic hemorrhage, and that is when I was able to find my OB. So obviously I needed to ask for like what to do. So she told me that I was not allowed to move for 2 weeks. I had to be on bed rest, strict bed rest for, as in maliligo ka lang or magbabanyo ka lang, but that's it. Like you eat everything, do not get up. So 2 weeks of that. But what was crazy, this was the first week of Feb. When I had my bleeding, I was approaching a week where I had like 6 hostings. So all of a sudden, I had to cancel on all of those events. Every single one. I felt very irresponsible as a professional. I felt super bad. I've never canceled ever. And I felt like that was the first struggle between my career and my family life, pregnancy and my career. And there was really a part of me that was just like, I'll be fine. Like, I can host, like, I can stand from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then there was another side that was telling me, are you insane? Like, what if something happens to the baby and you're never going to forgive yourself if you start bleeding even more while you're at an event. Some of those events were outside the house, and you can't get COVID when you're pregnant. So I was just like, well, either way, I didn't really have a choice. I had to be bed rest anyway. But these were the thoughts going on in my head. Diba? Parang there was still a part of me that wanted to work. And yeah, that was very, very difficult. And that was the first time I really had to let go. Let go of controlling things. Let go of how I want my work life to be, because there was a new priority. The baby. The baby. The baby. So the bed rest was really hard. Saying no to work was really hard. But my main, if you're wondering what my symptoms were when I was in my first trimester, I never puked. I just always felt like I needed to puke. So that was gross. Nobody tells you how bad the constipation is in the first trimester. It's just, and nobody tells you that you're gonna be so gassy. Like, I didn't know this. This is TMI, but you wanted to know what my symptoms were. Or maybe you didn't. I'm sorry that you had to know this. And yeah, like Nico was really just like, he really saw a new side of me, because I was just like so gassy. The poor man, my poor husband. Anyway, I was starving. Like, I would wake up at 4 a.m. and it felt like I hadn't eaten for 48 hours. Every single day it was this way. And so, you're eating, but you're not working out. So I gained a lot of weight in my first trimester, and they say that you're not supposed to gain so much weight, but I gained a lot for the first trimester, okay? But of course, I was really, really tiny prior to getting pregnant, so parang it wasn't so obvious. Let's move to the second trimester. On my 12th week, I was finally given the go signal to work out. By the way, the 2 weeks of bed rest was great. My subchorionic hemorrhage disappeared. The bleeding was gone. So it was obviously the right thing to do. So 12th week, pwede na ako mag-workout. Physically, there was something that could help me cope. But mentally, the second trimester for me, I will say, was, I don't know, everything was so hard. This will get better. I'm just walking you through my actual experience. So the second trimester, mentally, I was not okay. I really was I was very sad. Now, I want to make this clear. I was not sad that I was pregnant. I was sad that there were so many restrictions. I felt so isolated. Prior to getting pregnant, I would still leave the house for work, because there's no other human being at risk but me and my husband. And we're young, we're healthy, and we take the necessary precautions. But now all of that's out the window. Like, no, you're not even going to the grocery. You're not going to any event. You're not taking out your mask anywhere. Like, you are staying home, Bea. And that really was so overwhelming. The fact that I couldn't see my bestest friends, you always imagine, like, you have your best friends forever, mga kumare mo in life. Kala mo, di ba, parang mabubuntis kayo sabay, ganyan. And then, you'll share the experience. I actually had a best friend who was also pregnant, and we couldn't see each other. So, to be going through such an intense life stage and not be able to see your friends, share this joy with them, was so much for me. And every day I thank the Lord for my siblings, Elijah, Nika, Ella, even my sister Isa, who was pregnant also, by the way. So you can imagine why sobrang lockdown kami in the Fabregas household and the Ramos household and the Cuna household, my sisters. Because she was pregnant with her second baby, I was pregnant with my first, and COVID is out there. There was like a surge pa in March. So we were very, very strict. We only saw each other. We had a tight bubble. And I'm very thankful for my siblings because there would really be days na di talaga ako makabangon. As in, iyak lang ako na iyak because there was so much of my old life that I missed. So they would sleep over. They would try to distract me. They would motivate me to get my work done. Another thing that was so isolating and so hard, because Nico obviously is very busy. He has, he's in his room now, taking meetings. Ako naman, my work, I have to like take photos or shoot a video or something. So mag-isa pa rin ako. My gosh. Like, I felt so alone. I felt so alone. Super aligaga akong tao. Like, I was daydreaming na, it would have been so nice to be pregnant, to be going to radio or hosting. Like, I was imagining normal life, pre-COVID life pregnant. That's where my daydreams would take me. So it was very hard for me because we ran such a tight bubble, because Isa was pregnant, I'm pregnant. There was just no way I was gonna take outside work anymore, like hosting outside. And there was a struggle internally because, again, your mind knows what you need to do, but your heart is just like, but I want to do this and I miss it, and this is so unfair. That I was so limited, and I was just like, this is so unfair. This is so sad. And what's crazy is I've gotten so many wonderful opportunities with brands to collaborate and to work with brands that have allowed me to work from home. And that is something that I need to be extremely grateful for. And I should never, ever, ever, ever take that for granted. You know what I mean? But when you're so sad and when you're so consumed in your emotions and what you're going through, and you're so focused on what you want to happen, you forget. Not really forget. You fail to see what's right in front of you. And so now looking back, I feel like God wants me to be more present because He was providing for me in every way, like mentally, physically, spiritually, financially. He was giving me all these opportunities, but I was just so focused on why life was so unfair for me that I failed to see that He was moving on my behalf, if that makes sense. And now I see it, but yeah, it was just like, I just feel like if I had a different perspective or if I had a different attitude, things would be a little better. And I also want to say, I am not taking what I went through lightly, but at the same time, I feel like it could have been handled better. It's always a learning experience. You're always being sharpened. Everything that you go through is like, needs to happen. I was really in a bad place. I was crying every day. And I don't think that I really show that in that side of me on social media, like on my Instagram or to like people that followed me. Nobody really knew this. But there was really a shift. And this is why I'm making this video now, because I'm in a much better headspace. I think if I took this video 2 months ago, I think it would just be like, I'd be upset and angry and, whatever. So even if I'm talking about a bad experience, like my voice is still kind of like positive, I would say. I honestly thought that I was just going to be that negative the entire way through. I didn't think that I was, things were going to shift for me, but thankfully they did. And yeah, I'm able to see that I need to be more present with the little things. Like just being able to see my husband every day, share lunch and dinner and breakfast with him every single day before this baby comes and changes our life forever is already such a special gift. Sure, I wasn't able to go on travel the world like I wish that we were able to do, but at the same time, I am with my husband every single day, and I'm so blessed. I'm so blessed. And when I do give birth, my husband is still working from home, and I'm still working from home, and I'll have so much time to take in every moment with my baby. I am truly so grateful that God has allowed me to be able to work from home and has provided for me in every way. I just hope and pray that I never fail to see his goodness again. That I'm always in a season of gratefulness. And even if things are hard, even if things aren't perfect, God is still moving. He's always moving. He's always up to something. I got hospitalized week 23 of my pregnancy because there was something with my intestines, my organs moving around. And that was the shift for me. Parang mentally, I was just like, Lord, please make sure my baby is okay. And everything was okay. It wasn't related to the pregnancy naman. We just had to check if I had appendicitis. It was just it was weird. But anyway, when I got home, I was just so thankful that the baby was okay and that I was safe, that Nico didn't have COVID, I didn't have COVID. And I just prayed and I was asking the Lord. I was just like, Lord, I'm so excited for this baby. I want to meet my baby. I'm so excited, but I need to get through this pregnancy healthy and strong. That was kind of the shift. Yeah, it's been a month and a little over a month where I've been a lot happier, and baka din kasi mas malapit na ako sa finish line. So that's why I'm like, woo! I am 7 months tomorrow, and so I have 12 more weeks in this pregnancy, but I'm hoping I don't go all the way to 40 weeks. I think when I look back, I realize, yes, it's easy to say, I want to have a baby. But to go through it, the changes, it's a lot. It's really a lot to process. And, I was talking about how sad I was because I felt so isolated, but also my weight. This is something that I learned about myself. My weight was such an issue because I considered that I was in the fittest stage of my life, and then all of a sudden, and I didn't gain that much weight. I think I could have gained less. Pretty strict with my diet now. I eat very, very healthy, super healthy. Always gulay. I don't eat rice actually. I get my carbs from different sources because I feel like rice bloats me. When you're getting bigger and you have to take videos of yourself, it was so hard for me to go on cam. And maybe that's why then hindi ko to ginawa earlier kasi ayoko. I didn't like how I looked. And I really had to deal with that. And I think that I'm in a better place mentally. I love how I look now. I love my pregnancy. I love my preggy body, but it was not that way in the first few months. I felt like, I could have been smaller. I could have been a smaller pregnant woman, parang sobrang laki ko naman. All stupid things, because at the end of the day, the most important thing was my health and my baby's health. I do not have gestational diabetes, so that's great. And my OB was not even bothered by my weight gain. She was just like, oh, you look perfectly fine, and I'm not bothered by this at all. So I was like, okay. So most of it was me stressing myself out for no apparent reason. I'm supposed to be gaining a pound a week now. So I'm expecting that I will really like expand in the next few months, which I'm glad that I feel better about how I look now, because that way I can welcome the change. I think the Lord had to deal with that during this pregnancy, and right now I don't feel so pressured to lose all of this weight after I give birth to my baby. I just feel like it will naturally come because I do have a good habit of working out. I've worked out this entire pregnancy and I eat healthy. So why am I pressured? Another thing I learned about myself, I feel like this pregnancy was a big transition, figuratively and physically, like transition. And I have had so many transitions in my life. I got engaged in March 2020. I got married October 2020, and then I was pregnant Jan 2021. It all hit the pandemic, and I have to say that pregnancy during the pandemic is the hardest. I don't suggest, don't do it. I realized you need to allow yourself to process the transition that you're going through. Hindi pwede yung parang go, 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 go. You know, aside from getting pregnant, we also moved into a house. So, ang dami talagang changes sa buhay ko na nangyari. All of a sudden. So quickly. Even work changes. I needed those issues settled in my mind. Sometimes you can say something and then you go through it and you're like, oh, I didn't want that pala. With pregnancy, you can't, there's, once you're pregnant, girl. And so you have to accept this. And I was never sad that I was pregnant. It was just, I just felt robbed of so many experiences. Parang, my gosh, yung wedding ko na nga. My wedding was already so small. My engagement, I didn't get to celebrate it with any of my friends. And then even pregnancy, parang, it was too much for me to handle na it all came crashing down. It was a perfect storm. And then your hormones are just all over the place. So, yun. But what I learned about myself, aside from, the weight issues that I had to deal with, was also that so much of my happiness came from working. Like, physically exhausting myself. I love being super busy. I love back to back hostings, or like radio then hosting thing. I love being busy. And all of a sudden, when I had to shift my work to, let's say, more online content or, virtual hostings, hindi ko na enjoy. Parang I was like, wow, the joy in my life has been taken away. Then I realized, where is my joy coming from? What's the foundation of my joy? Am I only happy when I'm busy? Like, that's so sad. Like, that's wrong. That's not right. And I really had to pray and ask God to change that mindset and to really, I guess, re-explore my relationship with God and really think, well, where is the source of my joy and strength? And during this pregnancy, I can really say that I have had to pray harder, really cry out to God to help me through this stage of transition. So yeah, it's like there was a shift, diba? Parang there was an earthquake happening internally with like, okay, Bea, well, what is life really about? Is it all about work? Because you're about to be a mother and things are about to change. So are you going to deal with this or not? Are you just going to like hold on to the way you wanted things to be? Or are you going to try and force things to be a certain way because you can't anymore? So it was about accepting change, accepting the transition, really reassessing, recalibrating, relearning, and unlearning. But there's just a lot of like self-discovery during this pregnancy. And I think the main thing is, where does my joy come from? Where do I get like my strength and my hope? And where does my happiness come from? Is my identity so attached to what I do? Is the world gonna end if things have to change? Absolutely not. Life is gonna throw you so many changes. And you don't even need to be pregnant. You can be getting married, getting engaged, or moving in with your best friend, or moving out of your parents' house. And if you don't process this transition, if you don't accept that there is going to be major shifts in how you live your life, then you're always going to be like, it's always going to come crashing down on you, and you're always going to be like, well, what on earth is happening? What hit me? Why am I not okay? And I think that's what happened with my pregnancy. Hindi ko talaga na process. I just kept going and going and going and going and going. So my prayer now every day is that I ask God to help me be more present during these last few months. I really want to notice the little things. I really want to bask in my pregnancy, even if it's been just in this house. The only time I go out is for checkups. That's it. So I did get vaccinated though last week. So I'm very, very excited to be fully vaccinated so I don't have to stress over COVID when I give birth. And hopefully I'll be able to kind of see some friends. What's the takeaway here? Don't get pregnant during the pandemic. No, I'm kidding. I'm still very curious on what pregnancy is like outside the house, being able to work normally, and I guess just experiencing the joys of pregnancy with all your friends and family. So I look forward to my next pregnancy because I know that it will no longer be the pandemic. But you know how may pinagdaanan kang sobrang intense. And then you look back and you're just like, you say, I'm thankful that this happened to me. I will say that it's not as easy to say, oh, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord, for this challenge. I'm still in the storm, I would say. I'm still getting through the storm. But like I can see like rays of sunlight na parang, oh my gosh, it's gonna be a lovely day. Because I'm so excited to meet my baby, and I'm so excited to be a mom, and I'm so excited to see Nico as a dad, and I know he's just gonna be absolutely fantastic. He's just the best. And yeah, I can't just say na parang, I can't easily just say, oh, thank you, Lord, for this tough experience kasi napatibay yung loob ko. Mahirap pa siya sabihin, but that's the reality of it. I know for a fact that being pregnant during a pandemic has made me so tough. It's made me wiser. It really drew me closer to my siblings, to my family, to my husband, and to the Lord, and to God. And I've really just had to dig deep during this experience. I mean, I'm not gonna lie and just say that it's been rainbows and butterflies and roses. I've had a really hard time these past few months, and again, that's why this video took so long, because I had too many thoughts. If there's anything that I really want to just say and like leave people with, is it doesn't matter if you're pregnant or not. I think if you are going through a very difficult time, if you feel like the pandemic has taken such a toll on you mentally and like maybe even physically, call somebody, call your friends. Don't be ashamed to seek professional help, because there's no way you can carry that weight alone. Like I was talking about transition earlier, and I feel like sometimes just the transition itself is already traumatizing, or it's already so jolting, and it's already too much for your system, and you cannot do this alone. Even if you are a completely amazing, capable individual, I look at myself and I see na parang, I'm accomplished. I've succeeded I've been able to achieve things, and then all of a sudden there's this situation that I've been thrusted upon, and I don't know what to do. I'm like so sad, and I don't know how to get out of it. And the only way I got out of it was really talking through it. Talking to people, praying to God, asking for help. And yeah, shifting my perspective as well. Making sure I'm aware of what I'm thankful and grateful for has gotten me through also a lot of the days. So, to cut the long story short, we are very, very excited for the arrival of baby Ramos. And I just want to say thank you to everybody that's continued to pray with me. Everybody, like, it's been so sweet ever since we announced. So many people are like, I'm praying for you, have a healthy pregnancy, and stuff like that. Thank you so much for watching this. And I hope that you were able to pick up something from my pregnancy journey that I'm still going through. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment on the comment section down below. So be safe, be blessed, get vaccinated, and register to vote. Bye.